Hello everyone, Ron here from L.T.L Tutoring Central, and I am back with some collocations. This is various collocations number 7, and all of these are verb plus noun collocations. Just before we get into them, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, it helps the channel a lot. Thank you very much to those of you who have subscribed and liked videos and commented. I really do appreciate it. Also, if you want to find out more about my private tutoring service, just send me an email. You can check below in the description for a link to the website as well. You can send me an email and I can set up a free information for you if you're local in person at the big table here, or online if you're anywhere else, or even local if you want to do it online, that's fine too. Also, if you're planning on taking one of my Udemy courses, just send me an email and tell me which course you would like to do, and I can send you a coupon to save you a lot off of the regular price. Now, they do have sales quite often, so that might be good for you. But if they're not on sale, let me know. I can send you a coupon. They only last for up to 5 days, I think, at the lowest prices. So there's no use putting a link down below. It won't last long enough for me. I'd have to keep coming back and changing it on all the videos every day for all the courses. That would just not be possible. So send me an email. I can send you a coupon. All right, let's have a look at some verb plus noun collocations number 7. The first one on this list is accept an apology, which means to forgive someone and to move forward. And that second part's important because if you can't really move forward, then maybe you didn't really accept the apology. Maybe you didn't totally forgive someone. For example, after the incident, Brian accepted Theo's apology. So Theo has said sorry, he's apologized for something, and Brian has accepted his apology and he's willing to move forward. He's willing to continue to be friends or get along at work or whatever the situation is. Or it is good to accept an apology if it is genuine. So that's the other side of it. It has to be a true apology, a genuine one. Someone needs to mean that they're sorry when they say they're sorry. And then when someone accepts the apology, they should also mean what they say when they say that's okay or we're good. So it is good to accept an apology if it is genuine. Genuine meaning true. Next, we have eke out a living, which means to earn barely enough money to survive. So you're just able to pay your bills and get food on the table, but just. For example, Ted eked out a living by working 3 jobs. So he wouldn't have been able to keep up with all of his bills if he was only working 1 or 2 jobs. He had to work 3 and is still just making enough money to keep going. Or during the strike, the workers could barely eke out a living. So this is fairly common if workers go on strike and it's a prolonged strike. If it lasts for a long time, they only get part of their wages if they get any at all. And so it's very, very difficult to keep up with all of the bills and all of the things you have to pay every month. So they could barely eke out a living. Hold office means to occupy a position or role in government, an organization, or institution. For example, the Prime Minister held office for 5 years. That means he's or she stayed in office for a length of 5 years. Usually, I hear this expression used when talking about government. So the next example is also government. She was elected to hold office as mayor of the city. So there was an election and she won, and now she has become the mayor of the city. So she will be holding office as the mayor of the city. Lose weight means to become lighter. For example, if you are obese, it is important to lose weight. So if you're feeling that you're a little bit overweight, you don't have to be obese. Sometimes you just want to lose some weight. So you go on a diet and you try to become lighter. Second example, losing weight is not always an easy task. Yeah, so it's very difficult sometimes. Usually, if you're little bit overweight, or if you're a lot overweight, the first few pounds comes off fairly easily, but those last few pounds that you want to lose seem to be the really tricky ones and difficult ones. But at any rate, lose weight just means to become lighter, and we have a scale there. Pass a test, and that means to succeed on a test or exam, to not fail. Now, often that means over 50%, but there are some tests that you have to get 60% or 70% or even 80% to pass. For example, I have some workbooks that I use with my younger students, and in order to pass and move on to the next level, you have to get at least 80%. Here's an example. Sam hopes he will pass the driving test on Thursday. So in other words, he hopes he's successful and he's able to pass his driving test and get his license, or a permit at least. If you study diligently and get some rest, you will pass the test easily. Now, this is true if you are able to focus, if you're able to get some good rest and some good nutrition, you're much more likely to succeed on a test or an exam and not fail that test. Well, there you have it. A few more collocations to add to your repertoire. Accept an apology. It's always good to accept someone's apology as long as they're a sincere apology, a true apology, and then you can accept it, and then you can both move on and make things better. Eke out a living. I hope you're doing better than eking out a living, but sometimes we've all been there, and it is very, very difficult to make a living, and so at times, we are just barely making a living or eking out a living. A hold office, I don't know, have you ever held office? Often it's used for political positions, but it can be other institutions as well. And lose weight, well, I've lost weight here and there, and then I gain it back a little bit. And so many of us have had some experience with that. Pass a test. Of course, I have passed tests, and I'm always dealing with students, so I'm always talking about how to pass a test. And I do have test and exam strategies and other courses that help people. And then within my regular tutoring practice, I help all of my students with preparing for and learning how to deal with the stress of taking a test, or how to take notes, or how to prepare. So it all has to do with passing a test or an exam of one kind or another. There's also the test of life. I don't know if you can pass the test of life, but we all try to do our best. Just before I leave, if you don't mind, if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Thank you very much to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. It helps a lot. Also, a reminder, if you want to take one of my Udemy courses, send me an email. I can send you a coupon. Just let me know which one you're looking at taking. And also, if you want to learn more about my private tutoring service, again, send me an email and I can set up a meeting, or just send you some information. Let me know what you're interested in and I can send you some information on that. In the meantime, keep learning, keep having fun. It is Ron from L.T.L Tutoring Central. Bye-bye for now.